Hi and welcome. My name's Chris Tubby. I'm founder of Trading for Tomorrow, and as usual I'm just going to do some macro outlook, what's happened, what we're looking at for a really exciting week that's coming up, followed by some analysis on a few of the products that I trade. Okay, so well, let's start with last week first before we get into what's going to happen this week. So, I mean, last week the stocks fell after midweek, and that was mainly due to the data. And of course, this week's election is probably tempting some just to take their profits ahead of what's going to be just probably the biggest week of the year. The euro did manage to recover a little bit. It was touching a 2-week high against the dollar, whereas after the budget this week in the UK, the pound struggled. Labour's first budget failed to impress. So Bitcoin made a new high, but then failed to hold on to that as well, and ended the week around 70,000. So of course this week we'll see all of these markets experience high volatility, especially if the US election is close. Now if it is that close, it could lead to recounts, potential legal challenges. It could become a bit of a mess, and of course it will lead to a delay in the result. For me personally, I still believe that Trump will edge it. The big question is, will the Republicans gain control of the House and the Senate if, that is going to be the case? Because that's going to be essential for the US government to basically have a smooth run, but actually be able to perform as well, quite possibly, if it's that close. Now, data last week opens the door for further Fed rate cuts this week. Remember, so we have on Tuesday the election, well, the vote, the result of just when it comes. But that's followed Wednesday, Thursday this time for the FOMC. So it's all pushed back a day because of the election. So where the meetings are usually Tuesday, Wednesday, this time it's Wednesday, Thursday. Also remember the US changed their clock, so if you're in Europe, everything goes back to how it used to be for time wise. Okay, so if we look at some of the data last week, GDP Q3 advanced, it grew 2.8%, which is lower than Q2, and then PCE came in at 2.1, although that was the headline, and the core increased 0.3% to 2.7, so a little bit higher than the Fed would like, but it's still not bad, I would say. And then NFP was well below expectations. So there, I think that, it's partly maybe due to the storms, the strikes and everything that's just sort of skewed the data. And an increase of just 12,000 for non-farm. And the unemployment rate stayed the same at 4.1%. So, apart from NFP only 12,000, the rest of last week's data, it should really please the Fed. And of course, a very low sort of NFP number is in my mind likely to get them to cut rates this week. And then of course by the December meeting, they should know who's going to be president. I mean, it could take days, it could take weeks, months. It just really depends how close. As I say, I still believe that Trump will edge it, but that's just, you can't second guess these things. And I know that sounds a little bit extreme of how long it's going to take, but, if that outcome is that close, it really could take some time. Now, although you'd expect probably the dollar to weaken on the back of that, if that does happen, it may not. because investors will be looking to switch into haven positions. So a clear win for Trump should be good for stocks, the dollar and Bitcoin. Now just remember, that's only my view. That's just what I'm looking at. That's just what I'm thinking. It's not advice. Oil gapped lower last Monday. And that was because there was expectations of the Israelis finally attacking Iran, which they did, but it seemed to it was considered a controlled response. However, over this weekend, there seems to be a reasonable chance, from what's being said, that Iran intend to launch another attack on Israel because they felt it was perhaps a little bit extreme. It's just to and fro, isn't it? But oil's one of those markets that you can always find reasons why it should go up, but you can also find reasons why it should go down. And at the moment, I would say supply points down. However, that Middle East tension could prevent it from falling. And then, of course, Israel continues to fight on all fronts, really, against Hamas, Houthi, and a major attack on Hezbollah in Lebanon. They seem to be hitting some of those leaders and taking them out. But of course, they're always just going to get replaced. So how much damage that really does. And of course, again, that could prompt Iran into more forceful reactions. So Russia, it seems now, has North Korean troops fighting alongside Russian troops. As if you believe the news services and everything, I guess it's true. I doubt they're keen to be sent to fight in another country, to be honest with you, and basically in someone else's war. Now, these wars could soon become very complicated, with little chance of ending any time soon. Obviously, the focus this week will be the US election, followed by the FOMC meeting. Now, on Monday the 4th at 7:30 p.m. GMT, I'm doing a chat show with the guys from TMGM. They're a broker in Australia. And we're going to be talking about the election and obviously the following FOMC meeting, what to expect, the impact on different assets. And I've added the link at the bottom of this slide just in case you'd like to attend. It's really good. I mean, those guys are very sort of on the ball as well, so it should be a great conversation and hopefully give you a few pointers. So, just expect a volatile week. Now, I'm going to be reducing the size that I trade and having wider stops, but because I'm going to cut my size down, it allows me to have those wider stops without increasing the potential loss. And probably for me, I'll take on a few options positions as well, just in preparation. And, if in doubt, just remember that sometimes the best trade is actually no trade. Sometimes it's better not to lose money than risk it and lose money. So, I wish you all the luck this week. It's going to be a challenging week. It's going to be a volatile week. That said, it'll probably be nothing, but I can't see that myself. It really is going to depend how tight the US election is, because it's going to have repercussions around the world in the next months and years. So it's going to be very important to see who does actually win and how much control that they will have over the US government. So anyway, now there's another couple of slides to come, but then I'm going to follow that on with some analysis. So I hope you'll stay with me for that. Now, I just want to sort of just talk a little bit here about my services that I offer. So there's a daily newsletter that includes global news, headlines, my views, full articles, That is a subscription service. There's one-day workshops. This will help you to discover if trading could be your next career or even just a second income. Otherwise, maybe you're already trading, but there's a few gaps that you'd like to fill in, and I can help you with that because that will accelerate your trading and your performance. And then there's a 1 week intensive course. That's going to make you feel competent and confident after just 1 week. It's going to give you those foundations that you need to build your trading career on. And if you've got that in a trader, we'll find it. And now that does also include a free trading challenge. Then I do a Flexi Masterclass, which includes 6 weeks of guided learning. They can be split up. You don't have to take them all at once. And this is designed to provide you with all the knowledge and trading tools that you're going to need to navigate any market and also on any asset class. I trade them all. And as I say, you can spread those weeks out over months if you need to. It's no problem for me. And again, that does include a free trading challenge. Now, trader mentoring, I'm doing more and more of this. And this is to help you reach that next level time and again. And I'm doing much more in the way of one-on-one sessions right across everything that I'm doing now, rather than sort of looking for big groups. I do provide a lot of trader educational content to individuals, exchanges and brokers. And as I mentioned earlier about the trading challenges, if you're looking for a funded trading account, then you can contact me for details just about the ones that I use, or you can sort of take one of the courses where I'll give it to you for free at the end of it. Okay, so then moving on to our disclaimer, just to make you aware that trading does involve the potential risk of loss of capital and is not suitable for everyone, although hopefully it is for you. And many companies provide leverage, so just be aware that you can lose substantially more than that initial investment. Everything I include in here is just purely for educational purposes. I'm not trying to encourage you to trade or invest. That must be your decision. And of course, before you make that decision, you've got to consider the risks involved, definitely your financial situation, your level of experience, and your risk appetite. And of course, it's important that you only risk capital that you're prepared, but also that you can afford to lose. And if you've got any doubts whatsoever, seek independent financial advice and do that before you risk your capital. So many people come and find me after they lost money, which is sad. They should come to me before. And yeah, so listen, that's it for part 1. I hope to see you in part 2, where I'm going to do some technical analysis.